Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss one of the important topic of molecular biology, which is frequently asked as a short note in theoretical exam, that is post translational modification, along with the various multiple choice question asked from this particular topic in various entrance examination. To download lecture notes and other interesting stuff related to biochemistry, please visit website biochemistrybasics.com. Proteins, which is synthesized at the end of the translation, are as such not functional. Many changes take place in the polypeptides after the initiation of their synthesis, or most frequently after the protein synthesis is completed. This modification include protein folding by chaperones that we have already discussed in the previous video, trimming by proteolytic degradation, Intein splicing, and covalent changes, which are collectively known as a post-translational modifications. This is the picture showing the outline of post-translational modification, which involves polypeptide folding by chaperones into the tertiary structure, proteolytic cleavage, Intein splicing, which involves removal of intervening sequence, and chemical modifications, which involves addition of new chemical groups to the nascent polypeptide chain. First, we will see proteolytic degradation. Many proteins are synthesized as the precursors, which are much bigger in size than the functional proteins. Some portions of precursor molecules are removed by proteolysis to liberate active proteins, and this process is commonly referred as a trimming. The formation of insulin from the pre-proinsulin and conversion of zymogens to the active enzymes are some example of trimming. This is the picture showing the conversion of pre-proinsulin to the proinsulin and the conversion of proinsulin into the mature insulin by the removal of connecting peptide, that is C-peptide. So this is how pre-proinsulin is converted to the mature insulin by proteolytic cleavage. Second post-translational modification is Intein splicing. Inteins are the intervening sequences in the certain proteins, and they are comparable to the introns which are present in the messenger RNAs. So inteins have to be removed and exteins ligated in the appropriate order for the protein to become active. So that is the second post-translational modification. Third and important post-translational modification is covalent modifications. Proteins synthesized in the translation are subjected to many covalent change. By these modifications in the amino acids, the protein may be converted to the active form or inactive form. Phosphorylation is one such example of covalent modification. The hydroxyl group containing amino acids of the proteins, namely serine, threonine, and tyrosine, are subjected to the phosphorylation. The phosphorylation may either increase or decrease the activity of the proteins. A group of enzymes called protein kinases catalyze the phosphorylation, while protein phosphatases are responsible for the dephosphorylation, that is, removal of phosphate group. Glycogen synthase is one such example of enzyme which becomes active after dephosphorylation. Second covalent modification is hydroxylation. During the formation of collagen, the amino acids proline and lysine are respectively converted to the hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine, that is, addition of hydroxyl group. This hydroxylation occurs in the endoplasmic reticulum and it requires vitamin C. Third covalent modification is glycosylation. Attachment of carbohydrate moiety is essential for some proteins to perform their functions. Complex carbohydrate moiety is attached to the amino acid, that is serine and threonine, and asparagine, which leads to the synthesis of O-linked and N-linked glycoproteins respectively. Fourth example of covalent modification is vitamin K dependent carboxylation, which occurs in the clotting factors. So vitamin K dependent carboxylation of glutamic acid residues in the certain clotting factors is also Post Translational Modification. So this is the picture showing the example of covalent modification, which involves phosphorylation, glycosylation, hydroxylation, carboxylation, biotinylated enzyme, and farnesylated protein. Now we will see multiple choice question. First question was asked in All India 97. Vitamin required for post-translational modification of coagulant is, and the option are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin B6 and vitamin K. So vitamin which required for the post-translational modification of clotting factors is vitamin K. So the correct answer is D. Second multiple choice question is asked in a NEET 2016, and the question is all are post-translational modifications except, and the options are glycosylation, glycation, acetylation and carboxylation. So all are example of post-translational modifications except glycation. Glycation is not an example of post-translational modification. It is the non-enzymatic addition of carbohydrate residue to the protein by which glycated hemoglobin is synthesized. So glycation is not an example of post-translational modification. So the correct answer is B. These are my references. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe Biochemistry Basics by Dr. Amit, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you can get all the notifications from it. Thank you.